Let's freaking go. You guys, we've got some Transformers Reactivate stuff to talk about, and talk about it we will. But before we get into it, I just want to update everyone on our Toys for Tots drive. As many of you know, I'm taking the revenue that this channel makes between now and December, and we're donating it to Toys for Tots. All the money combined from ad revenue, super chats, and memberships, they're going towards the cause. And AdSense has just recently updated, and we are currently actually sitting at a total of $213.65. It puts a really big smile on my face, seriously, you guys. And it means the world to me. Quick shout out to our homie, Vader Jazz. He has gifted a ton of memberships during live streams, and you're too kind, homie. You're too freaking kind. The channel currently has 38 members who are easily identifiable by their matrix of leadership down in the comments, and we're going to feature their names scrolling down below throughout the entirety of the video. And with that said, let's dive into it. Now, over the past week or two, we've been hearing rumblings about Transformers Reactivate toys being on the move, and people claiming to have seen them and getting them in hand. Well, this morning, we finally got some images. Now, keep in mind, I don't think these are supposed to be official reveals. They're very clearly not. I think the websites we're about to look at done messed up, and they leaked this stuff. But more on that later. For now, let's take a look at Toys R Us Canada. They currently have a listing up for a Transformers Rise Voyager Starscream and Deluxe Bumblebee 2-pack. Lit. I'll leave the link down below so you can click on it yourselves, but there's some cool stuff to unpack here. Now, the first thing that jumps out is the big old Transformers Rise logo on the bottom of the packaging. This doesn't really surprise me. As I've stated in previous videos, these toys have probably been sitting around waiting to see daylight for a long time. Long enough that the game hadn't even switched hands from certain affinity to splash damage yet. Is this a big deal? Nope. Who knows? Maybe they'll update the packaging, maybe they won't. Either way, all that cardboard is going in the recycling once I get my hands on them anyway. What I really want to highlight here is the actual character artwork on the box. They just look so clean and polished, looking like they're ready to jump into Unreal Engine 5 in all their 4K glory. That just gets me so hyped up. Now, let's be a little honest here. If we look at the actual figures, like side by side, Bumblebee looks a little meh, and Starscream looks considerably better. But I think what's getting lost here is that these are not the same class of figure. Starscream is a Voyager, and Bumblebee is a Deluxe. They just happen to be in the same box together. Deluxe figures tend to be kind of middle of the road when it comes to like overall design. They can really be hit or miss depending on the character or the mold. But fortunately for us gamers, we're not going to be playing the game with the toys. This Bumblebee and this Bumblebee are not NAWT not the same. The actual game model is clearly far nicer than the piece of plastic that's molded after it. Now, before we get lost in asking 1,000 questions, I do want to reiterate that these images have to be pretty old. There could already be plenty of changes that have been thrown in that we don't see here. I used to deal with similar things. For several years, I actually worked in marketing for a major cell phone case manufacturer. And these types of images are shot in like a studio by professionals well ahead of any sort of like official reveal or launch. I used to deal with all sorts of nonsense from both like Apple and Samsung. And we don't need to dive into all that. We'll keep it to Transformers here, but suffice it to say that it is a very possible that what we are seeing in these images that Toys R Us has posted can very well differ from what actually ends up on shelves for us to purchase. I mean, just in this posting alone, Bumblebee is shown as having yellow doors in one image and black doors in another. Bottom line is that this posting was most likely not supposed to be live for the whole world to see. It was probably supposed to be a hidden page made as a placeholder for when the actual release time comes around. And now, speaking of release, that brings us to the next logical question. When can we have these? And subsequently, when can we have the game? Well, interestingly enough, there's some meat on that bone. So let's dive in. There was another listing that surfaced this morning from a Star Comics website. It's basically the same exact posting as the Toys R Us page, but this one actually lists a pre-order date. And that date is December 15th, 2023. And I gotta tell you, when I saw that on screen, I got the biggest smile on my face. Because if that's the case, then the stars are aligning perfectly for the possible timeline we've been discussing on my live streams. The Game Awards is December 7th. And the Game Awards is where the initial trailer was revealed to us last year. I've got a feeling deep down in the bottom of my spark that we're going to see Reactivate at this year's Game Awards. And then wouldn't you know, a week later, the toys go up for pre-order on December 15th, 10 days before Christmas. And it all lines up with what I've repeatedly pointed out time and time again through all the doubt and through all the naysayers. The official TFR website still says a closed beta is planned for 2023. It's still there, folks. Text hasn't changed. So here's what I'm hoping. Not only will we see more from Reactivate at the Game Awards, but they'll actually drop the beta itself on December 7th at the Game Awards. And then a week later, after us hardcore fans have dropped in and we're playing and we're grinding and we're loving it to death, here comes the toys for us to drop cash on just 1 week later. Just in time for Christmas. I love it. My wallet is ready. Now, before I move away from this Star Comics posting, there's two more things I want to point out that caught my eye. Number one, they actually have another listing for the Optimus Prime and Soundwave 2-pack, although there's no images whatsoever. And again, I'll leave all these links down below so you can, click through them at your leisure. But obviously we're all patiently awaiting the images of the Optimus figure. But the text at the bottom of the post is what really intrigues me. It was auto-translated into English by Google or something, and it says, and I quote, "In Transformers Reactivate, previously called Rise, Autobots and Decepticons join forces to prevent the Quintesson reign. This 2-pack includes an unusual team. The posh Autobot leader Optimus Prime and the calculating spy Soundwave." Okay, two things. They're acknowledging the change from Rise to Reactivate right there on the toy listing. So that's actually kind of a cool thing to take note of. But they describe Optimus and Soundwave as an unusual team. Now that's interesting. Obviously, we've known for a while now that the premise of Reactivate is that Autobots and Decepticons, they got to come together to defeat a common and much more powerful enemy. But the way they specifically word this has me wondering if these characters will have individual connections to each other. Throughout the story, that helps them better understand each other's perspectives as they go forward, into battle. Will we have missions where Starscream and B are, off together doing one thing while Prime and Soundwave are, off doing something different? But as we play through each mission, these polar opposite characters go from sworn enemies to slowly realizing that they have a lot more in common than they realized? I don't know. Only time will tell, but it's just a really interesting thought that's on my mind for sure. But either way, I'm just so freaking pumped. Absolutely pumped that the gears seem to be starting to turn and we're getting closer and closer to finally seeing this game. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. What questions do you have? What do you want to see in the game? How do you feel about what we've seen in these product images so far? Maybe on the next video, we'll collect, it's actually been a little while since we've done kind of like a Q&A type video. Back in August and September, I actually had a lot of fun pulling up your questions and comments on screen and kind of highlighting them and going back and forth with it. So drop your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you're enjoying the content, I would love it if you'd be gracious enough to leave a like or maybe even consider subscribing, or even jump into the Discord for some more real-time conversations. The link to the Discord is actually down below as well. Everyone is welcome, and the positive vibes actually that everyone keeps bringing to the Discord has been absolutely phenomenal, and I cannot thank you guys enough. Seriously. But with that, I'm pretty much officially out of time for this one, folks. And until the next time that I get to see your beautiful faces once again through the power of the interwebs. You all know the deal. You always wash your hands when you want to eat, but always keep them dirty enough to see where you come from. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.